There was a man who had everything: a home, a job, food on his table. But every night he went to bed angry, not because of what he had, but because of what he didn't, until one day he lost it all. His name was Daniel, 30 years old, working a steady job, living in a decent apartment. From the outside, his life looked fine, but inside, Daniel was drowning in comparisons. His neighbor had a bigger car, his colleague got a promotion, his friend just bought a house, and Daniel, he felt left behind. Every scroll through his phone made it worse. Success stories, vacations, new purchases. Everyone seemed to be winning, except him. He would come home tired, not from work, but from carrying the weight of not enough. His apartment felt too small. His salary felt too low. His life felt ordinary. And ordinary to Daniel felt like failure. One evening, Daniel sat at his table, eating alone, simple rice and vegetables. He stared at his phone. A friend just posted pictures from a luxury resort. His chest tightened. Why can't I have that? He threw his phone down, looked around his apartment. Old furniture, cracked walls, faded curtains. I work hard. I deserve better. The bitterness tasted worse than the food. He couldn't enjoy what he had because all he saw was what he lacked. That night, he couldn't sleep. His mind raced with frustration. Maybe I should quit. Maybe I should move. Maybe I'm just unlucky. He didn't realize it yet, but his real problem wasn't his life. It was his eyes. He had forgotten how to see. The next morning, Daniel's phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Daniel, this is City Hospital. Your building had a fire last night. You need to come immediately. His heart stopped. He rushed to his apartment complex. Smoke, ashes, chaos. His building was gone. Everything he owned, destroyed. Clothes, documents, memories, gone. Daniel stood there, numb. A firefighter approached. You're lucky you weren't home. Everyone got out safely. Lucky. The word felt strange. He lost everything. How was that lucky? For 3 days, Daniel stayed at a shelter. No bed, no privacy, just a mat on the floor. He ate donated food, wore borrowed clothes, used a shared bathroom, and for the first time in years, he felt something shift. On the third night, he lay on that thin mat, staring at the ceiling, and he remembered his old bed, his small kitchen, his cracked walls, the apartment he complained about every day. Now he would give anything to have it back. A week later, Daniel's company helped him find a temporary place, smaller than before, older, basic furniture, but it had a roof, a bed, a working stove. He sat on the edge of the bed, and he cried, not from sadness, from relief. He had spent years hating what he had, and it took losing it to see its value. That night, he cooked a simple meal, rice and vegetables, the same meal he used to hate, but now it tasted different. Because he realized something. There were people who would pray for a meal like this, people who would be grateful for a bed like his, for a job like his, for a life like his. While he had been busy complaining, he had been living someone else's dream. The next morning, Daniel walked to work. He noticed things he'd ignored before: the warmth of the sun, the smell of fresh bread from a bakery, a child laughing in the park. Small things, things that cost nothing, but somehow meant everything. See, most people think gratitude is about being positive, smiling through pain, pretending everything's fine. But that's not it. Gratitude is about seeing clearly. It's about recognizing that while you chase what you don't have, you're ignoring what you do. And the sad truth, most people only learn this when it's gone. When the job they hated is taken, the relationship they ignored ends, when the health they took for granted fails. Then suddenly they see, but by then it's too late. Daniel learned before it was too late, not because he was wise, but because life forced him to look, and what he saw changed everything. He still had dreams, goals, ambitions, but now he could enjoy the journey because he stopped waiting for enough. He realized he already had it. Months later, Daniel moved into a new apartment, bigger than his temporary place, but smaller than his old one. And you know what? He loved it. Not because it was perfect, but because he learned to see differently. Every morning, he woke up grateful for the bed he slept in, for the water that ran from his tap, for the food in his fridge, for the job that paid his bills. Things he used to ignore. Now, they were his peace. Because peace doesn't come from having everything. It comes from appreciating what you already have. So tonight, before you sleep, look around, not at what's missing, but at what's there. The roof over your head, the people who care, the breath in your lungs. You might not have everything you want, but you have more than you realize. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. If this story brought you peace, share it with someone who needs this reminder. Like, subscribe, and let's grow together through stories that matter. Because gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's a way of seeing. And once you see, everything changes.